Hey, what's going on? I'm Jay Dudley, just chilling in the van for a little bit. It's pouring down rain outside, but that's it's a beautiful thing. It's refreshing the land. It's giving it energy and life, so it could grow once it finally dries up. Because it's flooding going on all over the place. Um, but speaking of that, I well, most of you know I was an over the road truck driver, but where I was out of New Jersey and I drove all the way up to Maine, all the way down to the Florida Keys, Key West, and all that stuff, and uh, as far west as Denver, Colorado, or as far south as Texas, as far north as Wisconsin, like the tip of Wisconsin. And it never clicked for me, I guess because I was working the entire time, the vastness of our country, of the United States. But even uh even in that section and area that I drove through, what I would call the eastern side of the country is so densely populated. Even in the rural areas, you're not far away from people. When uh what was that, last year or 2 years ago, I went out on a mission for Grindstone to retrieve a bus that was powered by natural gas. It was donated to Grindstone Ministries, and I got a rental car in New Mexico, and that was my first time going that far west. New Mexico, well, driving wise, Arizona, and then into California. That was my first time in California, and just seeing the vast openness. Like I drove past the Salton Sea, which is a documentary that I watched, what, maybe 15, 20 years ago, about how they tried to build this oasis, this inland saltwater oasis that failed miserably. But thinking back, on that trip, I didn't really, it all didn't really sink in about the vast openness. Like, I was so focused on the mission of driving and getting the bus and getting it back. I didn't really pay attention, especially with that bus and natural gas. Everything is really spread apart out in the west, and there's very few natural gas fueling stations. So the every time I would fuel up, it was, what is the closest natural gas fueling station, and will I be able to make it there? Because the mileage on this vehicle is not doing too good. So it was more of a stressor driving that thing through the desert in desert heat temperatures with no air conditioning. It I couldn't tell if having all the windows up or having everything open was helping, because I was just boiling in that vehicle. And again, I couldn't really really grasp the vastness of driving through the desert. But recently, for Refuge Medical, which I'm wearing a shirt right now, we went out to SHOT Show in Las Vegas, in the drive from here in Oklahoma to through New Mexico, through Arizona, into Las Vegas. uh, Even then, really didn't click. But on the way back, I am just flying down the highway and looking at the speedometer. The point that I have my eyes on of using my Smith system, driving, I'm like, okay, well, there's a point that I'm focused on, but I'm still going. I'm looking at my watch. It's still very, very far away. But dang, home is far away. Home is 16. Well, actually, no. Our stop in New Mexico, I think, was what 10 plus miles. I mean, hours away, not miles. It was hours away, but we're in the middle of a desert. There's mountains off in the distance to the left and to the right, flat plains. There are no exits for anything. It's if there is a turn off, it's just going on to a dirt road or a reservation or something like that. Actually, it reminded me of our trip up to North Dakota, because there was nothing out there. But as I'm driving, I'm thinking, well, I'm from the East Coast, from New Jersey. Think about those people that got off the boat in New Jersey at Ellis Island, because I think Ellis Island actually sits in New Jersey. It's not in New York, but they have a claim on it or whatever. But all those people, however you got here to the country at that time, whether whether you were forced here or you chose to come here to this continent on your own, and those people that said, you know what, I don't like it here on the eastern coast of this country. I'm going to see what's further west of here. Some people went a little bit into what we now know as Pennsylvania. Some people went what we know as Oklahoma. I mean, not Oklahoma, Ohio, West Virginia, and they stopped and they flourished there. Some people continued on. Some people stopped in Colorado. Some people went up to Nebraska. Some people went to the Dakotas and said, this is where I'm going to plant my flag and I'm going to live. So, people went down to Mexico to Texas, to New Mexico before those places were even states. Somebody said, hey, Nevada seems like a good place to live. Yes, it's a terrible desert. It's hot. I'm going to live here. And then there were people that kept going and said, I'm going to just keep going. And they stopped once they hit water in California. How? How did you do that? How did you say, I am going to walk from here to here? Like Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump, in the movie, he ran back and forth from coast to coast. That's probably based off of someone that actually did that in real life. But think about how mentally tough you needed to be to say, I am going to walk across this country, not knowing what's out there. There's no rest stops. You're walking. There's no stores along the way. For those first few people that went, there was nothing. But then you think about the people that did make that way. They made their outposts. You don't know where these are. No maps have been made yet. There's no GPS telling you go this far and you'll be able to get there, and something will be there. There'll be some water for you to drink. No, there's nothing. Hey, we were going, and I usually map ahead to where I'm going to stop for fuel, and we were trying to keep a good time and get to Vegas by a certain time, and I picked the Pilot or Flying J that I was going to go to next, and it was within uh 10 miles. No, I'm sorry. It was within 40 miles of what the gas tank said. So the gas tank plus 40 miles said we had that much fuel left. But getting close there, whew, at the 10-mile to the exit mark, my heart started pounding because we're in the middle of a desert. Nobody is stopping for us. Our did I misplan and get us stuck and stranded out here in the middle of a desert? But we made it to that exit. Well, I'm counting it down like GPS is saying, oh, we're 5 miles away now. The gas tank is on empty. It's not giving us a range anymore. We're 2 miles away. I could see the sign. I've had it happen to me before where I pushed my luck and I was a mile away from fueling up and I didn't make it there. I had to get out and walk, go grab a fuel can. If I didn't have one in the vehicle already, it's it's just mind-blowing that for the hours that we were driving across the country seemed like it took forever. But imagine walking. There's some sections that took a few hours in like a bowl between mountain ranges, and that would have taken months on foot. Think about if you weren't by yourself. Think about if you were with a family or you had a stagecoach. Like if you were balling like that, to be able to own a horse that could pull your crap from one side of the country to the next. But if not, it was you in a bag or a sack or something with all your possessions in the world footing it. That's just mind-blowing. That's showing the blessings that we have today with the technology that we have. Like, appreciate your broken down car that you think makes too much noise, can't get you here and there looking pretty, but it's driving you there. Imagine if you had to walk. Just like I purchased a new bike, so I'm not driving my vehicles back and forth for little simple things. I could just hop on a bike and go. It's like being here in Oklahoma, like you could see giant open fields that'll take you quite some time to get to. Like I'm an hour and some change away from the interstate, but that's just an hour and change drive. Think about those people that went across those deserts. Like there's no water. Like where are you getting water from? There's no nothing. Like now today there's no nothing out there. So imagine back then when you were walking, there's absolutely nothing. There's nobody coming, and if somebody was coming, they're coming to kill you because they want to take what little bit you have with you. But they made it. They stuck to it. They grinded out. They had the heart to just keep going, keep pushing, just going for that one more. Like, I can go one more mile. I could go one more day. I could go one more second. They just kept pushing, and didn't stop. Now, a lot of people take for granted that we have a highway system. They don't appreciate it. They simple roads. They're like, oh, well, this place didn't have the luxury item that I wanted, so I'm going to be pissed about it. Like, what? Like, be happy, be joyful, appreciate what you got, appreciate where you are, because it could be a hell of a lot tougher. There's so many reasons to be grateful to the Father for your existence that you have today. So continue to do that. Shalom.